Bob a birthday card, and there's this old guy that's down on the floor, and he's holding like a telephone cord. And he's like, so how do I plug this thing into the internets?
There's a scene in a movie, you kind of have to see it, but it's one of those, I don't know if you've ever seen the Neighbors movies with
Oh, is that yeah.
where they live next door to the fraternity house.
Oh no, I was thinking
Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne are married, and they live next door to a house that got sold, and it becomes a fraternity house.
oh,
But then that whole movie has a sequel where it becomes a sorority house, and they're at these constant war with them, and one of the girls is in their house and grabs, it's at a beautiful old like arts and crafts style house, and she's in the kitchen and she grabs the phone on the wall, and they're chasing, and she runs.
yeah.
And of course, the cord ends up at the end, and it throws her up in the air, and she falls down on the ground. She was like, "What is that?"
Why is there a cord attached to
Yes,
my
he has no
phone?
idea what the phone even is. He was like in college at that time. He's like, he doesn't even know what a phone cord is. Like throws her on the ground. It's pretty funny.
Well, yeah. I was kind of thinking that the other day of course, with all the old movies, people will know, I suppose, for a while what landlines are, but
Yeah.
you wonder how many more years it's going to be before
Yeah.
people like, what is that thing?
Stump's niece, who just graduated from college this spring, is complaining herself about all of the young people who are now saying, instead of give me a call, they say give me a call. Like,
Instead of doing what?
they no longer use this, they do this for anything related to, like, call me or whatever. And she's all upset about it. I'm like, well, you're part of that generation, but anyway, yeah. And I never even thought about this no longer makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
That now they're doing this.
Well, now it's, what do they do in Hawaii?
No, it's this.
Yeah, no, I know, I got it. But what is it? It's like this, right?
Well, that used to be, call me. That was the general.
Right.
That was
Right.
the.
That was the symbol, but it's
Yeah.
also the Hawaiian thing is that, what? And then there's the Spock thing, live long and prosper. Hey, you switch sides of the screen. What the heck?
I didn't do anything. I think you may have Rock On confused with Hang 10, but or maybe it's the other way around. Because there's also like.
Well, we have to be careful about hand gestures if anybody's.
This is like, Rock On, or maybe it's this. I don't know, but and then the other is Hang 10 that you're talking about, the surfing thing.
Live long and prosper.
Yeah, we got that one. But you're dating yourself with that one more.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Why is my hand raised? My hand seems to be.
Mary, do you have a question?
Do I have a question? Well, I just wanted to, with your permission, I just wanted to take a few minutes. It's kind of a special day today, and I know it's not good stuff, but I thought the message we got from Monk Manual this morning, I don't know if you saw it. I thought it was really beautiful.
No, I tried to look it up after you sent that, because your text that said continue reading, like it didn't have it in there.
Oh, I didn't take the link, but I thought you were on there.
I do, but I'd already erased it or something. I don't know. I couldn't find it.
Anyway, so today, I'm just going to read it if it's all right. Today marks the anniversary of September 11th. It also marks my 36th birthday, which surprised me that he's so young, but such a wise, such an old soul in a young body. Ever since I was a freshman in high school, this day has been a mixed cocktail of emotions. I still remember crying while my family sang me happy birthday after coming home from school. For me, it's a day set aside to celebrate potential and the gift of life, while simultaneously recognizing loss and the darker aspects of human nature. Often, when I share my birth date, people tell me that it must be tough. Tough is one way to describe it, but over time, I've come to see the strange personal connection as its own gifting. I have an uncommon bridge to the nature of what it means to be human. Life is both joy and loss. It's light and dark. It's elation and suffering. It's a mystery that we are invited to participate in. And that's Steve Lawson, who's the founder of Monk Manual. So I just thought that was incredibly beautiful and an appropriate way to celebrate a sad day in our history.
All right.
Okay.
There we are.
There we are. Well, I didn't think it'd be right.
Oh, it's nice. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess that puts a positive spin on it, right? For our good stuff
I
podcast.
know I surprisingly know like 3 or 4 people that have their birthdays today. Yeah.
Oh, really? You do? Okay.
Yeah.
I can't say that that I'm aware of anybody, but anyway, I'm sure there's people in my sphere that have their birthday today. I just don't know who they are because I don't know everybody's birthday, of course.
Mhm.
But one of the things we were talking about last week was about. Remember, I sent you that article about the hotels downtown, not the hotels, the office space being repurposed for nonprofits because of since COVID, people aren't coming back. The offices that a lot of the corporations are.
Well, a lot of groups, including nonprofits, are able to get more like Class A office space that they haven't ever been able to afford before. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's being repurposed, and I'm seeing if I can find.
I'm not sure if that's an accurate description because I don't think the property owners are doing it purposefully,
Right.
but it's because it's just they're able to get it at an affordable rate,
Right.
way much more than they were able to before, that they're taking advantage of that. And there's some other, I think a lot of other companies too, expanding space or getting space in a like a Class A or moving up to Class A or Class B that weren't able to really afford it before. Yeah.
Right. Well, actually, this article is 2 weeks old, but it was an article that appeared in the Tribune. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just talks about the bargain rates, or nonprofits now are able to move into Class A space. So I think it's a good. I mean, I think it's a great thing. And the article reports how the people that work there are so excited now to come into the office, and
yeah, that's cool. I think about so many of my friends, so many of my close friends for years are in social services and child welfare and stuff. And yeah, they had some pretty crappy offices.
Oh, right. No, I mean, that's a beautiful space. I think that's right around the corner from our office, actually.
Yeah.
And it looked like
they were often, weird, locations and not so nice neighborhoods and then, commercial districts that just weren't, conducive to like where you'd want to go to work and stuff.
You wouldn't want to be working in the office late at night.
Yeah. And just not great places to go have lunch or do anything, and many of them, because of the nature of the business, were in and out of the office all day long, all week long, and so coming in and out of that all of the time too. It's not like they were, in the office all day once they got there. So it was kind of a constant, like, going through everything and going into these weird parking lots and just all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I think it's really nice to be able to have those people have some better options. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly
Definitely silver lining.
Yeah, a silver lining. That's what I was going to say. Turning lemons into lemonade or whatever. But yeah, um, um, I had a thought and it just went right out the window. So, what did you want to talk about today? What's on your agenda?
I don't know. I didn't have a.
It's been a couple of weeks. One of the things that Wes and I have been, it's been like 2 weeks because last week, it's hard to believe, last Monday was Labor Day. And man,
Yeah.
that seems like it was a month ago, doesn't it? I don't know. I had a really busy week last week.
And we've got kind of a crappy rainy day today, all gray, but I have to say, overall, our summer has been beautiful. I was reaching out to some friends and clients this morning about stuff, and I was like, God, I hope you've been able to enjoy the summer. And I'm not sure if everybody has seen it the way I have, but I feel like, well, the last, I think 2 or 3 summers have been pretty good, but I think it was like almost every day was like sunny and clear and like not too hot. We had like 2 or 3 hot days here and there, but not too hot. Not, most of the rain happened, at night or, in one fell swoop, and then it was over, and just enough to keep everything green and wet,
Right. Yeah.
And,
No, I think that's actually a thing I think there's an actual meteorological reason why it
yeah,
rains.
climate change. Yeah.
Well, no. Why it rains more at night than it does during the day.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Because
because once the sun
cooling and the cooling and stuff. Yeah.
and whatnot. So
But I just mean like, for overall, it's like, and just, it's been really great. And
you know what? I absolutely agree with you. I mean, really, the last 3 years, I would say, and yeah, no doubt it's climate change, but we've had very mild winters and our summers have been very mild.
yeah, like Stump says, there's been a flattening, flattening
Mhm.
of the seasons here,
Yeah.
and it's kind of worked to our advantage. And especially when we see so many of our friends and colleagues around the country, like, having extreme weather,
Well, I had
extreme storms, everything. Yeah.
I had a text from a client yesterday whose building I sold here in Chicago, and she moved to Houston, and I had reached out to her just to say, hey, how's it going? And she said, oh my God, she says it's been in the hundreds every day in Houston. She's like,
Mhm.
I'm coming back to Chicago. She moved to Houston to be with her family and took a
Yeah.
job down there. But yeah, I know.
Hot and humid. It's hot and humid down there.
Well, and I know when I
Like
went
New
out.
Orleans. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh yeah, and I know when I went out to Monterey and the beginning of August in Monterey, California, I had a layover in Phoenix, and of course they had that 110, 115 heat wave
Mhm.
when I was at the airport there. But
Yeah, we have a Compass agent in Scottsdale who
oh,
uh,
right. Yes,
talking
yes,
to who
yes. Yeah,
did
you should tell that story. It's a great
uh,
story.
so she
Yeah.
had it was kind of ironic the way it came up, because the leader of the call was talking about how when he had her online with a big group of us, was talking about how he stopped paying attention to the weather. He's traveling all over, doing things from day to day. He's really packed, and he's said, unless I'm like planning a camping trip or something, I've just decided not to pay any attention to the weather and just go through my day as usual. And this agent friend of ours in Scottsdale said, well, yeah, but said, I had an open house over the weekend and it was 118 degrees outside, and I had to take oven mitts to remove my open house signs from the streets afterwards. That literally her fingers would blister from trying to pick up the open house signs. So
I wonder if when it's 118 degrees, did anybody come to her open house?
yeah, who knows, because in those areas it's so like, well, that's what it is. And if it's that way for weeks and weeks and weeks, so it's like,
You got to
you
get
just
on with your
gotta,
life.
yeah,
Well, I
everybody
mean,
gets
that's
on with their
kind of
life.
comparable to when we have like 20 below and, those winters where it's such a cold, polar vortex winter and it's so friggin' cold. And after the initial shock, you're like, you know what? I just got to get on with my life. And
Yeah.
right?
And it hasn't been like that in a while for us either. We have that weather, and it might be, Saturday we get a snowstorm, but then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it's sunny and warmer, so people might
And all
stay in on
melts, yeah.
Saturday, but back in the day, especially not too long ago, that stuff could last for weeks and weeks. So you just kind of went about your life, but
Right, yeah.
maybe now
Totally.
people might pause because the weather's going to change tomorrow, but yeah, in general, just kind of move on with it, I guess.
Well, I still have I call it my portable igloo that because back during those polar vortex winters, I have a big heavy down coat that I wear. And when you go show vacant properties, which I don't do that so much anymore, but during the recession, I was doing a lot of REOs and, distressed properties because we were all doing whatever we could to, keep food on the table. But during the recession, so yeah, I got myself what I call my portable igloo. And oh my God, that coat is so great. And it's like, I'm probably never going to get rid of that coat.
That's when I would always get sick in the winter, because you'd have to bundle up like that. And then you go in your car or inside, and then it's warm, and then you sweat, and then you get back. It's like, it's this constant hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold,
Mhm.
and that's when I think myself and other people would get colds and flus and stuff.
But that's what you tell yourself. But you have a growth mindset now. You're going to quit telling yourself that. Right?
I don't do it anymore. I kind of like,
We don't have to do it anymore. Our winters
yeah,
have been
I mean,
so
that's
hot.
basically, that's part of it. Yeah, but part of it is I kind of got to where I'm like, no, I'm like, yeah, I'm adjusting my behavior and like how I dress accordingly too, so yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I try to prevent that from being all bundled up to stay warm just for this one period, this 10 minutes, where then it's going to be, 80 degrees, for another hour. And then, I just try to, avoid both, overdressing and then, and booking myself in a way that it's hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold.
How do you do that?
You just do it.
I mean, how do you control that
Well,
though?
first of all, like I said, I don't bundle up like that.
So you just go in and show the building when it's 20 below and you just freeze
I
your
might
ass.
have a coat, but I'm not going to have your igloo, because I don't think it does me any good.
Well,
But
when I was standing out there waiting for somebody to
and I
show up,
keep
I
the
was damn
temperature,
glad to
if I'm-
have it. I'll tell you.
I'm in and
What?
out of the car, I keep the temperature lower in the car,
Yeah.
and I'm not driving, since COVID, we don't drive people around like we used to.
No,
So
no.
I'm not, cranking the heat for them,
Right.
so I'm maintaining, and with the Tesla, I can maintain the temperature too. So it's not, you get in and it's freezing cold, and then it warms up in 10 minutes, and then you stop at another property to show it. By the time you come out, it's, freezing cold again in the car, and you warm it up. So it'll hold the temperature for me. So it'll stay a constant temperature. So it's not hot, cold, but also
my sister-in-law drives a Prius, and she said her old Prius used to do that. It used to keep it like it never got above like 85 in the car, something like that, 80, whatever the temperature was. But then I guess her new Prius doesn't have that feature. They discontinued it. And she's like, because, you can go into the grocery store and come back out, and your seat, you can't sit on your leather seats because the seats are too hot. But
yeah, right.
so she said she's really upset that they discontinued it. And she's like, I don't know why they discontinued it. It's a really nice feature, but I wonder if it has something to do with it just encouraged people to leave dogs or babies or something locked in the car. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they would have discontinued that, but that's my guess. So
yeah, well, that's a different feature. Like the overheating is one feature, and you can set that in the Tesla too. But there's just like the dog mode, there's just a keep. So if you've got your car set at 65 degrees, you could just hit the keep mode, and you go in the grocery store, it just maintains 65 degrees until you come back out. I mean, it just maintains whatever you've got your thermostat set at. Of course, you can change it from your phone too. But then there's also, like you're talking about, there's there's like an overheat function that if it starts to get too hot in the car, because it screws up the car and like you said, the leather seats and all that, it'll vent and turn on a fan. It'll the windows will lower and it'll turn on a fan to keep it from overheating inside. So that's
So I wonder why Prius would have discontinued. Well,
I don't know. Maybe just streamlining the functionality for cost. I don't know.
yeah, who
Maybe
knows?
she got a lower level model or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Should we share some of what we've been focusing on the last couple of weeks since we were on the call with the microbiome stuff and the blue zones? And
No, I think we're over time today.
we are not over time. You're just saying that you don't want to talk about
Oh, it's 12:22, but no, you're right on that too.
it.
On both.
Well, we're kind of excited. I just want to share the one thing that I learned on a podcast yesterday about about getting up and
You
walking.
can't help but overshare.
Well, the thing about the walking 250 steps
Okay.
every day, and how
Alright.
that's actually more important than to do that. I mean, if you're going to have a choice,
That's a good note. Yeah.
right? If you're going to have a choice between sitting at a desk all day, and which is not something you and I do. I mean, I think we're lucky that way. We don't. Well,
Most days
we do.
we're out. Yeah.
Most days we're out and about and active, which is one of the things I love about our industry, but or what I do. But if you're like my son, the computer geek who sits behind a computer all day coding, he will at the end of his workday get up and go for a run. But it's actually more important to get up every hour and take 250 steps, which takes about 2 to 3 minutes, because of how it regulates the blood glucose in your bloodstream.
But it's
so
better than, explain that. It's better than what?
then it's better to get up every hour and take 250 steps than it is to go for a run. Now, I mean, the ideal scenario, you should do both, right? But if you have a choice between one or the other,
Like having a full-on exercise regimen versus just getting up and moving every hour. Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I thought that was really, I mean, not that we're doctors or know what the research is or any of that. We can't cite any of those things, and we're not giving medical advice, but
All the disclaimers. Yeah, that's what, we were talking about how on the Apple Watch and the activity rings and stuff, that's back when I don't know that I ever heard it that specific about it comparing to exercise, but that's when they started the claim that sitting is the new smoking.
oh yes.
Remember?
I started that, but I think they've kind of gotten off of that a little bit. I mean,
Well, it's the same concept. It's you just don't know that many smokers anymore, so it just doesn't probably have the same impact.
well, I think people went overboard on that whole thing about they were standing all day long, and I think that's hard on your back and your feet too, to stand all day long, right? I mean, like
Some people do, but it was more about you have to get up and move. You have to get up and move. Not
right. I mean, people
their point wasn't you have to stand all day, but it was like sitting all day is as bad for you as smoking is. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, I think people may have kind of taken the concept of like the standing desks and your.
I don't know. They're still pretty popular, and I know people that love it. Say it's made all the difference. Yeah.
I was talking to somebody recently who went to work someplace, and they actually gave her a desk that she could adjust herself. So if she wanted to stand part of the day, she could do that. She could lower it or sit part of the day.
Yeah, pretty much all of them are adjustable.
Like that.
There's some companies that have put them in as part of the
part
of this the workplace. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, I think that's a cool idea.
They also make them that sit on top of whatever your desk is, that just sits on it and then adjusts up or down. So it's kind of like you don't have to buy the full.
Oh, you don't have to buy the whole desk. It's just the thing that rests on top, like an adapter.
Yeah, it'll adjust up or down and go, back down to flat on your desk or adjust up to stand. Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, well, on that note, what do we got coming up this week?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm taking it day by day.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I have a couple of new listings. We're going live in the MLS with my new listing on a townhouse over in East Lakeview on Wellington. We think it's priced very well, so time will tell, I guess. Market's a little squirrely right now, but hey, what else is new? Interest rates came down a little bit last week. They're around 7.25% now, I think. So that's good. But anyway, all right. Well, everybody have a good week, and we'll see you back here next week.
All right, bye.